Russell Brand, Russell Brand, Russell Brand. As my friend would call him, Brother Brand. You know what I mean? Well, Brother Brand is, boy, Brother Brand, Brother Brand, sorry, now faces some more turmoil and drama. As he now faces, I think, well, he faces two more accounts of grape and SA. Okay? It says here, Russell Brand is facing two new counts of grape and SA after pleading not guilty to similar crimes earlier this year. Russell Brand's legal woes continue after being charged with multiple counts of grape and SA, all which the comedian has pled not guilty to. The 50-year-old was hit with additional charges after two new female accusers came forward. Brand was charged with one further count of grape and another count of SA relating to the two women, London's Metropolitan Police Department confirmed in December 2003. He is due to face the charges in a London court on January the 20th, 2026. In a video posted on X, formerly Twitter, December the 23rd, the actor, who shares 3 kids with wife Laura Brand, did not address the matter directly, though he urged those watching to understand the truth of my situation and scenario. I pray, Lord, anyone that I've harmed or hurt in my years of mindlessness and sin would be healed, Lord, he said in the clip. And I pray, Lord, for the absolute truth of who I am to be abundantly revealed. Okay. Right, I mean, there's some more going on about the previous case, but previous parts of the case, but Brother Brand, boy, I think, looking at this step by step, okay. At one point, he was the liberal left's darling, wasn't he? You know, he was part of that, you know, in the UK, that London liberal scene, you know what I mean? That kind of, you know, the liberal left scene, yep. And then, as it was, as politics changed, you know, as we see, you know, there was a political shift, as it were, where it seems now that, you know, there's some kind of shift. And he actually said this. He acknowledged that there's a political shift where the left have gone one way, and it seems the right. He actually said this, and this is actually, I don't want to replicate what he said, because I don't want, you know what I mean? I don't want to be targeted for saying exactly what he said. But in one of his videos, he said something very poignant. That's when I said, "Right, this guy's in trouble." Which was he's referring to a crossover in political ideology and with regards to political parties. So if we look at America, obviously the change of the guard with regards to, you know, the changing of political ideologies between the Republicans and the Democrats. Looking at the politics here, as we're seeing, it seems to be a similar kind of shift, as it were, especially with Labour's policies now and the ideology, which, you know, I'll leave it there. But, you know, for common sense and rationale, is Labour's ideology like that? Are their policies that way? Are Labour for the working man as they were before? You know, obviously the liberal left, you know, a bit more trendy, a bit more funky. But they've yeah, that seems to have gone to an extreme, whereas the Conservatives seem to maybe have shifted towards the centre, I guess. Maybe not. I don't know. But you know, he's Brother Brand now. It seems to have gone to the other side of the political spectrum. You know, as he's recently he was at a MAGA meeting, you know, and he's part of that. You know, he's gone over to the right, as it were. So naturally, him being the darling boy of the left, now gone to the right, is not going to sit well. So we can put that against him. We can cross that box against him. Okay? Also, something similar has happened with Andrew Tate, hasn't it? Similar kind of thing. Being outspoken, speaking out against the present status quo. What does that get you? Where's that getting you? You know, you're questioning ideals which the liberal left espouse. Obviously, it makes sense to silence you. And what way can we get you? What both these men have in common, which they're quite prolific with? Exactly, women. Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, and of course Russell Brand. You know, is what it is. So there you go. I mean, let's say if we let's look at Russell Brand. In fact, I actually bumped into him in Earl's Court, which is central London. You know, that was interesting. You know, in terms of how he was then and how it be, yeah, I doubt he would impose himself on anybody. In fact, did they impose themselves on him? From what I was seeing, but hey, another conversation. He was trying to get into my car because the pipes around the corner. My car was like parked up, and he just goes, "Yeah, mate, let me come in, mate, let me come in." I know, because I didn't, you know what I mean. I just being an ass. I said no. I said to him, no. He goes, come on, mate. And he got in the cab in front of me. I think he drew some blonde girl at the same time, which was, you know what I mean. For him, he's a star, isn't it? So he can do what he wants. But right. Apparently, before, he's a very wild guy, as we know. Very wild, a lot of drugs, wild kind of guy. Would he have done anything like that then? Obviously, his mind state is different to now. Now, obviously, then even his mind state is different now to what it was when he was a liberal left. And then we're going way back now to his wild, crazy days. But still, would he have done that? I'm going to say no, blatantly. I'm going to say no. As an excellent judge of character, you know, he's done some wild shit. Like, you know, he's done the rock star thing of, you know, 4 or 5. But then again, this is what I keep saying. The measurement of the average man, yeah, how he sees things, yeah. Anything wild and extroverted and hedonistic, he sees it as bad and foul and on the more grapey side. That's how the average man thinks. So the advantage the media have is that the reader, who's the average man, will read about Brand's antics and then couple all that together with more sinister, decadent things, such as essay and grape. You know what I mean? But that's not the case at all. You know, a man can be a hedonist and be a freak, you know, and do all kind of freaky things with 4 or 5 girls, but doesn't make him, you know, a grappist, a grappler, as it were. Does that make sense? But the world doesn't see it in those terms. That's why women are scared to be freaks, because they know they get judged. And exactly. If a woman's a freak, she's going to be judged and called a SLUT or a hoe. Yeah, same thing applies. But so you know, like a hedonist, you know, who has like 4 or 5 girls in a bed and having wild sex parties, you know, the average naked eye, that is a decadent debauchery kind of thing, you know. And another argument is powerful men, like, you know, Russell Brand, you know, powerful guy, you know, essential, at one point, powerful guy, etc., etc. If a woman says no, they're saying that these guys are so powerful that they're not going to say no for an answer, okay? I see it as he's kind of guy that, you know, he'll, quote, chuck it at a woman. If she rejects him, he's like, cool, whatever. He'll move on, he'll bounce on. That's the kind of vibe I get off him. And that's just textbook stuff for any guy who's skilled in the women game. You know what I mean? And if I can do that, then what can he do? You know what I mean? Come on. If I can do that, what can he do? And judging by what I've seen him do, boy, think about it. How far does a stunning blonde girl, how far does a stunning blonde girl looks go? We can just go and get a replica You know, if I like Haley Berry, she's got it off. You drag in an Aaliyah or Tony Braxton, you know, kind of thing. In his world, you know, as a rock star, they got the rock star lifestyle, but that does not equate to Grape. Okay, that's how I see it. So, you know, yeah, I think obviously these women have come out the woodwork. I don't say that in a loose or in a bad way. I'm saying they come out of nowhere as additional charges because they need to hit him with something. Same with Andrew Tate. They bring forward further charges because they want to knock this guy down, or they want to get him contained or do something. Maybe warn him or put him in position. They want to impose some kind of, you know, they want to impose something on this guy, you know. Anyway, it's gone on a bit long. So yeah, leave it there. All right then, bless, bye.